Welcome to the Real Deals Real Estate Podcast, where you'll learn about buying and selling homes and how to invest in real estate. Now, here's your host, Donald Torrance of JAVE Real Estate.
Good day, everybody. This is Donald back with you guys with another episode. I'm joined with Cynthia and Tatiana today. We're going to actually dive into her story. I mostly invest in Northwest Indiana. I'm Illinois bound. So I am a investor that's been investing since '95. Done everything that you could possibly think of except for new construction.
Oh, you froze. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I froze? No. I've done everything except for new construction. Cynthia, if you want to tell them about you, and then Tatiana, we can actually dive into you.
Okay. My name is Cynthia Ware. I am in the Georgia area, but southeast and south Georgia. I'm about 40 minutes from Jacksonville. So my market is Georgia and Florida. I got in real estate when I was 19 years old. Bought my first HUD house for $6,001. My friend's boyfriend was a general contractor, and my little young 19-year-old self said, what do you want? What do you want done? And we walked through that house. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. And I was so, oh God, just excited and just overwhelmed when we made an ugly product beautiful. And I've been hooked ever since. Also, I bought another one a year and a half later, another one 6 months later. And then I went to professional school and then came back and did it 10 years later. Well, almost 10 years later. Okay. Tatiana.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Donald and Cynthia, for having me on. I'm Tatiana Zagorovski, a single mom and real estate entrepreneur in St. Louis, Missouri, helping people design their American dream through integrity strategy and real estate. And the question, how long you want my story to be?
Let's get the introduction part of it, and then we're gonna dive into it.
Well, I want to ask her questions right now, because I know others are watching and saying, what her accent is from? What her accent is from? Where are you from, Tatiana?
Okay, great question, Cynthia. So I was born in the Soviet Union in a family of professors. There are 3 generations of top-level famous professors in my family. And naturally, when I was 5 years old, I was confident I would grow up to be a professor too. But during my teenage years, perestroika happened, Soviet Union fell apart, and my dream changed. I realized I want to become an entrepreneur. I want to make money using my own brain because, brain was always a big thing in our family of professors. But after perestroika, professors became, poor people. So I didn't want to be one. And when I got my master's degree in applied mathematics at the age of 20, I left my country to pursue my dreams. And first I moved to Israel. And after living there for a few years, I relocated through my corporate job to United States and to Missouri, to St. Louis. Okay. That's the only place I've lived.
Everybody froze. Can anybody hear me? Hello.
How lucky we are to live in this country.
Awesome. That's a blessed statement.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So what was your career when you first started before you entered this world of real estate?
Yeah, as I said, I got my master's in applied mathematics, and I worked for a year back in Soviet in Russia already after Soviet Union fell apart. It became different countries. So I worked for a year as software developer, and in Israel I quickly found a job in large corporation. Well, first I was accepted into startup Kasparov Chess because I used to be competitive chess player, and my grandfather was 2 times world champion in correspondence chess. So his name was well known, and even people who worked in this startup knew my grandfather. But a few months later, I was invited to a large corporation, and I relocated for the same corporation. But I always was looking for a business to run. But I ended up working 20 plus years in software development. I have 3 patents. I saved millions to my company. But I always felt like I'm not pursuing my dream. Even from outside, it looked like I'm living American dream, you know. High-paying job in corporation, large house, 2 wonderful kids, like 5 vacations a year. Everything looked super nice from outside, but inside I felt completely dissatisfied because I couldn't find what I really love to do and, build my dream, not the dream of corporate owners. So
what led you to real estate?
So one lucky day, I walked into very cheap real estate webinar, and few minutes in, I just knew that's it. I found what I've been looking for so long. I found my need, and that's how I'm going to build my legacy. That's how I'm going to build my empire. And of course, I didn't know exactly how, because even on this short webinar, we were talking about multiple ways to make money in real estate. But I guess the most important piece from me was I knew that's what I'm going to do, and that I don't need to have tons of money to start. Because I had, the common mistaken idea in my head that I need to have tons of money to start. And I did have a rental, but that rental was basically my first primary residence that was fully paid off, and we just kept it after we purchased a new house. But it took a few years, so I was thinking like, one property every few years, it's not a way to build an empire and successful business.
Okay. So you stepped into a seminar. Whose seminar was it? Do you remember?
Oh, I remember very well.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Actually, I joined this group later, not so free, but,
Oh, okay.
but it was good investment. Actually, my first investment in my real estate education was very successful. So it was a cheap webinar, and after that, I joined the program Women in Real Estate Investing Network. Now we turn into gigantic educational program. But back then, when we were relatively new, probably 2-3 years in, and we started right before COVID, so it wasn't a lot of activity. So bottom line, I got lifetime access, and I am very grateful because, it opened my eyes to a lot of strategies. I made lifelong friends. I made a few, people I'm doing deal with now. So yes,
And that's the good thing about being in groups like that, because you get to network and you get to wind up finding that you guys can do deals together, and you do more deals. You get to when it's just you do a handful a year, as opposed to when it's a group of you, or you wind up doing double that amount. So it's a great thing you actually joined, because I took training programs too, so and they actually help you. So doing that, what year was this when you did that?
I want to make a comment on that though, because one of the things that I've learned, because I went into a high dollar network group, and you have to be careful and do your due diligence and have some goals set before you actually do all that investing, because you can end up in a platform that just sucks you sucks you dry financially, and you really may not be moving in that real estate space.
Mm, that's true.
Well, I agree with you both
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
because I have both types of experience.
Hmm.
Oh,
I spent tens of thousands of dollars on my education. And I originally, because I was looking for shortcuts, I'm a person who is in charge of innovation and efficiency. So I'm always looking for some creative solutions. But
mm-hmm.
unfortunately, it cost me tens of thousands of dollars of chasing those magical solutions to get motivated leads.
Mm,
So chunk of this money was literally, it went down the drain.
mm,
But I totally agree with you, Donald, that finding right mentorship and doing more business with right people, that's one of the best part in real estate.
yes,
So
absolutely.
eventually I found my right circle. I found a mentor who right fit for me and who really cares about his student success.
Nice.
So about 3 years ago, I joined the mastermind with Damon Remy, founder of RAI Black Book.
Oh,
That's
okay.
software for real estate
Yeah.
investors. And since
Hmm.
I'm professional
Hmm.
software developer, I can tell it's one of the best, is not in the best in the industry. The way how it is designed and developed, that's how I would have built it.
Hmm.
So um, and yes, I got burned. Interesting fact: we first joined venture deal, and it was basically my first real deal in real estate.
Hmm.
Was with someone from my first network
Okay.
who scammed me for more than $100,000.
Oh,
And
Mm,
this
wow.
person is a pastor. She
mm,
and her husband run an online church,
Mm,
and well, it was very unexpected thing
hmm.
to happen, but it definitely taught me multiple lessons.
Hmm.
And since I knew that real estate is something that I want to do, I didn't let this huge
yeah.
setback
Hmm.
So
ruin
I got.
my dream about having my own business in real estate. So I moved forward. It wasn't easy because at the same
Yeah.
time I had the worst personal situation happening with my family
Hmm.
related to my kids' well-being. And basically, I found myself it too costly and devastating mentally legal battles.
Mm,
Hmm.
One with that scammer in Florida, and another one with my ex nearly a decade after I got divorced to change custody agreement for our kids in their, best interest.
Hmm.
And
okay.
I also took hard decision at the time to leave my well-paying corporate job because I had to be present for my kids. I
Hmm.
couldn't help my kids and perform well at corporate. So I found myself without steady paycheck,
Hmm.
without steady income, not yet having a business in real estate. 120,000 debt in credit cards, two
Wow.
legal battles going on. So it was nightmare.
Okay.
But at the same time, I knew two things.
Hmm.
Real estate is what I want to do. And I knew, inside feeling that that's my thing.
Hmm.
And then I had no choice but to make living and start paying bills and get myself out of this financial
Okay.
loophole. And luckily, by that time, I was already part of this Damon's mastermind.
Hmm.
Mm,
And my preliminary efforts starting to pay off at the same time. I started to attract right people, honest, like-minded people looking to build win-win solutions. I started to make deals. I started to generate income. And basically, within 2 years from this very low moment of my life,
mm-hmm.
I was able to fully replace my previous corporate income, um, get myself out of the worst. And now I'm doing multiple deals. I'm helping private lenders to also make money on their savings. I'm helping families to solve their problems in real estates, either
Nice.
by unloading their houses they don't know how to deal with, or finding houses on seller finance, because I also help people who are not qualified for traditional mortgages to become homeowners.
Nice. Nice.
And the
So,
moment I started to speak about the scam
Mm-hmm.
mm,
I've been going through, people started to reach out, to help them to understand how it's possible to survive, because apparently a lot of people getting scammed. But
yeah.
Absolutely.
but unfortunately, most of those people feel ashamed,
Yeah.
Mm,
and they sit quietly, and
I agree.
sometimes they
mm,
completely devastated, and they
Mhm.
don't want to pursue, their
Yeah.
dreams anymore.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think I found my new purpose to fight against scammers, to
Hmm.
educate people who were not scammed, to
Right.
avoid being
So take.
scammed, and those who were scammed not to sit silent but speak
Uh-huh.
up.
So Tatiana, I got a question for you. First of all, I want to say more than kudos, just the way you floated up and elevated past that. That's hard to do because you got mixed feelings. You embarrassed. You hurt, and particularly a pastor stole from you. You're
Yeah.
very hurt, and then that is finances that you needed because you
Hmm.
got other pockets of life you were trying to take care of
Right.
or needed
Yeah.
to have taken care of. So I really, really commend you. I'm
Thank you,
that's
Cynthia.
awesome to rise above all that. And so I got a new thing that says keep it moving. Do not stop and wobble in that place of hurt, place of I feel like I'm not achieving. You got to keep moving. You got to keep moving. So you
Right.
did,
Oh,
yeah,
well, I'm a black belt in martial arts. Me and my
yeah.
I am
son.
too.
Oh,
Oh, excellent. So Donald and Cynthia, I know your son was doing it.
Yeah.
So like we say, it doesn't matter how many times you fail.
Yeah.
All it matters how many times you get up and keep
get up.
punching, kicking, or moving, or
Woo,
Yeah.
woo.
Yeah.
working
That's
on
it.
your business.
Right. So what let's give everybody a little background on the time frame that was to show how you stayed motivated to come out of your situation. So that was I'm thinking about 2021 when you went through the hardship, or was it
No, 2021, I still was living, American dream, five
okay.
vacations a year, but I felt, empty inside. I was looking for this thing, and 2021, that's when I discovered real estate,
Okay.
but I haven't started doing. I was looking for deals. I couldn't find good deals. So
Okay.
that's why in the beginning of 2022, I signed into that partnership. And originally it was supposed to be quick in and out with me as equity partner.
Hmm.
But shortly after we closed, she indicated that it can be a great opportunity for short-term rental, Airbnb. And at the time, I really dreamt about having Airbnb in Florida. So
Mm,
I allowed this change in the plans, and that's one of the red flags everybody should know.
Hmm.
When your joint venture partner offers you to change the exit strategy,
mm,
be extremely cautious. I'm not saying it's a bad thing all the time.
Yeah.
It might have worked if everything,
was
was right
honest.
and both partners were
Mhm.
honest. But
Right.
in general, it's one of the first red flags I should have,
Mm.
noticed. But at the time, I was excited. I'm going to have Airbnb in Florida. How cool is that?
Yeah.
So it was beginning of 2022,
Okay.
and when I think around November 2022, that's when my family nightmare happened.
Mm,
Okay.
That's the last thing I would have expected.
Hmm.
And the next few months, I was completely, drawing in this in trying to help my kids, help myself, because let's be honest, at some point I started to feel completely down, not because of finances. I always knew that I can always make money. That's not a
Right.
question. But feeling that I'm a failure as a mother because I'm
Mm.
not able to help my kids,
Mm.
that's the
Okay.
worst. And when day by day goes on and you see your kids suffer,
Mm.
uh, I didn't want to leave myself. And the
Mm.
main reason I stayed alive because I knew my kids would be better with me than
Mm-hmm.
without me. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
only thing that stopped me. And at some point,
So
I
your
had
tr-
even to take on medication against severe depression. So yeah, it was awful.
So your children were your motivation. That was when people ask what was your why, you would say your children were your why that push you through to actually come on
Absolutely.
top. Yeah. So how has that transition into where you are now with you doing multiple deals? It sounds like you're doing some private lending as well.
Oh, well, I do private lending myself as well from my IRA, but
Yeah.
mostly I'm raising private money
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
from busy professionals
Okay.
who can enjoy their lifestyle,
Hmm.
but have their money work better than in CDs or savings account, and sometimes even in stock market without, worrying about this roller coaster. And that's how I met Cynthia
Yeah. Okay.
in a training program, How to Raise Private Money.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the great programs.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So after spending, I don't know, I need to make a math someday. I'm just afraid to see the final number. But I
Oh,
anticipate I spent probably like 70, if not more, thousands on
yeah.
trainings and education.
Oh, easy, easy.
And again,
I'm up
half
there
of
too.
that was wasted, but what Damon is giving me with his mastermind and what I'm learning in Raising Private Money Lenders program where I met Cynthia, those are real deals.
Okay.
Those things I can recommend to anyone.
Hmm.
Again, with the a side note, because even if the coach is great and very
Hmm.
knowledgeable, it's like with psychology. You need to feel this person because
Right.
if you don't vibe with that person, you
Mhm.
probably don't get the maximum information from training.
Right.
And I know coaches now that I highly respect, but I wouldn't join their programs because we don't vibe in in the
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah.
So what kind of deals are you doing now?
I am doing okay. So my focus now is, of course, buying houses as is, helping people who in distressed situations with distressed houses, like senior people moving to small houses, inherited properties. I helped multiple landlords, mostly out of state, to
Mm.
unload their houses. And then it really depends on a case by case basis.
Hmm.
I do some fix and flips, and I love that.
Okay.
I do some wholesaling. Basically, I allow other people to benefit from a good deal and either fix and flip or add a additional thing to their portfolio. And I do build my portfolio of houses, but I don't do rentals anymore.
Okay.
I pivoted into seller finance. So I'm selling my houses on seller finance
Hmm.
to allow people who are not able to qualify otherwise for traditional mortgages to become homeowners.
Okay.
And some people asking me questions, and I always, make sure that this program is right for the person. Because if you are able to qualify for traditional mortgage, that would be the better route.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But if you are not able and you are not going to be able to qualify for a long time, then our seller finance program can be the right fit
Okay.
because the payment will not go up every year like with rentals.
Hmm.
You're locked in principal and interest for years and you have option to pay it off if your life changes or refinance.
So explain to somebody that just tuned in that doesn't understand seller finance. What are you doing as far as seller finance? What does that look like for
Yeah, in
an
this
individual?
particular, and I'm doing like on both sides, but this particular strategy that I'm primarily focusing is where I do seller finance to sell their house. And in simple terms, it just means I act as a bank.
Mm,
So instead of taking a mortgage from a bank, person takes a mortgage or loan from me or my business to be more accurate, and we decide the terms. Well, usually I set up the terms, but in some cases I can be flexible because again, my goal to help people.
mm.
So I'm always trying, to see if we can build win-win solution that works for all parties.
Okay.
I
But in
got
a
a question.
nutshell, yes, I act as a bank. So we sign an agreement, contract for deed. And typically it's also like this traditional mortgage is 30 years term, no prepayment penalties. They can pay it off whenever they can. And by paying off, they can either literally pay it off or they can refinance because in some cases, few years down the road, the situation changes and they can qualify now. So they can refinance with traditional bank, get better terms, and probably get some money out if property appreciates.
Hmm.
I got.
Or in some cases, they can sell it. But of
Mhm.
course, I will be the first lien
Right.
getting paid, and whatever is left goes to their pocket.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So I got a question on that seller finance. I remember when I first, actually, that was the second house I bought in Detroit. It was called consumer consume the loan. That's what it was called, but that's seller finance.
Yeah.
Um, and so in I didn't feel comfortable with it. That I'm learning more to feel comfortable in it. If the person end up having a life challenge, that's what they are. They life challenges, and they found themselves not able to pay that $900 mortgage or that $650 mortgage monthly payment. How do you deal with that? Or in
It's great question, but pretty much it's similar what happens with a bank. Uh, and I always explain multiple times, and I always make sure I understand what kind of contract we are signing. So basically, if they default, uh, when our agreement considered terminated, and seller finance can be done in two ways. Way number one is contract for deed. That's how I do it primarily. So if they stop paying, then they consider tenants, and if they're not willing to leave voluntarily, we go through eviction process. And actually, I just finished one eviction. I was really trying to help a young lady for almost 2 years. She was feeding me, life stories, but I guess she lost more relatives than any person has in their
Mm.
life. Well, now I don't believe all her stories, but in the beginning, it was my first seller finance deal, so I was so excited that I'm helping. So I let her, not to be on payments. I restructured the contract one time, but she's still not paid, and eventually I realized like I need to evict. So I found out she also completely damaged my property. She kept dogs by themselves there, and I got
Mm.
house with full of dog faces.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm looking
I've
and say,
been there.
well, it happens,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but luckily not with. But bottom line, I went for eviction. I took possession of my house.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Another option to do seller finance is to do exactly like bank does, transfer the title to your buyer. But in this case, if they stop paying, then you go through foreclosure process.
Right.
And again, I don't forbid my clients to do this way. But most of them just not interested to pay additional closing cost, and they prefer to do through contract for deed.
Hmm.
But yeah, basically, that's very important to explain to
Mhm.
potential person. what is going to happen, how the contract works, and make sure that they do have money to pay. Of
Yeah.
course, nobody can predict the life
Right.
Yes,
challenge,
Yeah.
situation. Yeah.
I had people who wanted their house, but clearly were not able to pay the amount because whatever they make, they need to make sure they can have money to pay, for food, for bills, for some activities, not
Yeah.
give everything to the house payment.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
And
a
it
formula.
Yeah,
There,
and then there's also because I want to go back to the contract for deed and just to hold you on your point, Cynthia, like we use lease option agreements. Contract for deed is the exact same thing. Most people don't. It depends on what state you're in, and I just wanted to make sure people understand that because I'm gonna give you a license, an agreement that says you have the right to buy the property at this set price at this set date, and if you don't follow that agreement, you're considered a tenant, and then I can evict you. As opposed to me setting up a mortgage agreement, I would never sell. And that's just me. And people could do what they want. I would never sell on uh, uh, a agreement that I'm giving you rights to the property for me to have to evict. I mean, for me to have to actually foreclose, because that process can take too long, and I don't want to go through that long process. If it's in Illinois, it can take 18 to 24 months to complete an eviction. I mean, a
foreclosure.
foreclosure,
Ooh.
as opposed to if it's a eviction, Illinois is going to take me anywhere from 3 to 9 months. Indiana is going to take me anywhere from 2 weeks to a month to evict.
Mm.
So that's why I prefer to stick with what we would contract for deed or lease option agreement. So I just wanted to make sure people understood the difference between
It
the two.
depends. Yeah, it really
Yeah,
depends on a lot of
yeah,
things. Again, for Illinois, the numbers are not that awful. It
hmm
depends on the area because in St. Louis Metro, they also have Illinois side.
yeah.
And I recently learned that, for example, eviction can be done relatively fast,
Okay.
within couple of months. But
hmm
but again, not in all counties. It depends on the
Right.
county where in Illinois. I'm not familiar how long it can take for foreclosure, so I will not comment on that.
Right.
But in
So
Missouri, foreclosure can take up to 5 months, and
Mm.
okay.
evictions are usually a couple of months.
Yeah.
So even if the eviction, the common, because there's a place on the paperwork that says reason for, right? And the reason for is no payment on the
Yeah,
average.
no
So
payment.
it
Yeah.
still will take like 9 and 18 months for no payment.
No, no, no. If you do a lease option, no, because it's basically a lease, and it gives them
Yeah, when you
and they
evict them, not
yeah, and
foreclose.
they do an option agreement where they put up and their down payment is for the option. So, and
Yeah.
what happens a lot of times, people who set their option agreements up wrong, you actually give them rights when you say it's towards your down payment. So now you give them invested interest in the property. So you have to be careful with that.
Hmm.
So because you have to be careful and say this is a non-refundable down payment. So if you taking 10, 15, $20,000 as a non-refundable down payment, you have to make sure you clear on that and not state that you're giving them rent credits. You're not giving them a credit towards they down payment towards, because it can be misconstrued in court, and now they have an invested interest, and now you have to go through
Absolutely.
a
Yeah,
total
yeah.
different process.
Yep.
Mm.
Similar with contract for deed, we
Yeah,
do get this down payment, and
yeah,
it's clearly written that if I default, it's not refundable.
yeah, yeah.
But that's kind of a safety net for cases when they stop paying and you need to evict them. That's usually where that money goes.
hmm Yeah. So the all that's important, and it's good that you're doing that because there's so many people who wants a home and can't get a home traditionally. So
Yeah.
it helps so many people out in that situation. How many of those do you think you can possibly? Because you are you a one person show, or are you do you have a team?
Um, I don't have a large team per se,
Okay.
mostly me,
Hmm.
but I'm bringing a lot of, joint ventures
Okay.
into into the business. I've tried a few times different kind of partnerships. So no, I'm not. I'm.
Hmm.
It's not the right business for me. I need to be in charge.
Okay.
I am the boss lady,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think everybody on the pod, I think everybody on the Zoom,
well, it
they
depends
got
on
to
your
be the leader.
personality type.
Yes.
Yeah,
Some people are comfortable, be
sharing that space.
be in the team and have somebody else in charge. But no, I have
Mm.
high A personality, so
Okay.
I must be in charge. But
Hmm.
I am bringing a couple of team members on commission basis.
Okay.
And I always, open to JV with right people.
Okay.
So some of my people from my network actually help find the buyers for my properties.
Oh,
Some
okay.
people from my network bring those properties to me.
Hmm.
So like recently we had a great deal. Well, I haven't closed on that yet, but basically I signed a contract for a house that one of my good friends who is investor and realtor brought to me. And also as a part of her commission, I gave her my old van, and she
Mm.
is giving her to a single mother of four who is in
Nice,
financial
Oh, wow.
hardship. And,
nice,
and, and when once we close, I'm helping this landlord to offload his property that he doesn't want to keep anymore. He's getting out of his rental business. And then this property will be a great starter home for
Hmm.
someone who otherwise cannot even dream about owning a
nice,
house.
Hmm.
nice.
So it's
I
like the
did,
whole chain of win-win
yeah.
events. That's how
Yeah.
I like it to
Yeah.
be
Mhm.
structured.
Yeah.
So I got
Go ahead.
another
Go ahead, Cynthia.
question. Management. So let's say you have three seller finance properties that you have tenants in them. And do you call them tenants?
That's good question. I am still not sure how I personally like to call them because a lot of people call them tenant buyers, but I really don't like the term.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, probably tenants, it's the right.
Potential homeowner,
Yeah.
maybe.
Potential homeowner, but yeah, tenants. I would go with tenants until the property is paid off and the title moved to
So
them.
so that question is, how do you structure the management of it? And I'm gonna give you two examples. The door hinges are needing some attention because the
Well,
wood of the
Cynthia,
frame
I will cut you right where. I'm sorry. The
okay
whole benefit of doing seller finance
is they
versus rentals is because the main part of agreement, they are responsible for all repairs and maintenance.
mm-hmm.
So it
Okay,
doesn't matter if it's door hinges, if it's toilet, or something else.
yeah,
It's not my responsibility.
okay. And I'm gonna give you two examples why I keep my foot in that oversee of management. Okay, when I was in medical school, I had a tenant in my one of my houses in Detroit, Michigan, and they knew me. It was a little close to the chest. They knew me, and I had the rent like low and affordable, right? And they called me and said, "Hey, that same situation, the screen door was no longer working. I think they helped that in some kind of altercation, but it needed a new screen door." And so I said, okay, I'm gonna forward some funding to you. We could fix it. We do rehab. We could fix it. They didn't buy a screen door. They found one somewhere that was too small for the space, right? They took the money and spent it and then put the wrong size screen door
Mm.
on the house. And so just those little kind of things, I said, I still have to oversee or have a general contractor oversee, walk by, go by, and see that the repair is being done properly, or either don't have them involved with it at all, so that I'm when I get the house back, if I end up with my house back, I'm still fixing those problems that I trusted that tenant to fix. So that's what I learned from
Yeah. So in
Nick's.
this, it's a little different, Cynthia, because you're giving them the option to own a property. So when you giving them something like this opportunity, they're learning how to become a homeowner. They're
Okay.
learning the responsibilities of being a homeowner. So a lot of times they take because that deposit they put up it's not like a $2,000-3,000 deposit. They like $10,000-15,000 in some cases more. So they have a little pride in the property, and they tend to do a little bit better with taking care of it.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they also want to have a sense of ownership. So that sense of ownership changes the whole perspective of them not taking care of. What's been your experience, Tatiana?
Yeah, Donald, the important piece that you just said, the pride of ownership. So for people who are really eager to become homeowners, they take a lot of pride and they do a lot of nice repairs. Again, for what I'm primarily doing, I'm buying low-end properties in St. Louis. So the amount of down payment is relatively low. It's average $4,000. Again, if I ever start doing more expensive properties, then yes, down payment becomes larger. But for properties I'm primarily focused is low down payment. But again, for those buyers, $4,000 is also pretty large amount. And
So
they don't.
what's your property values that you're mostly targeting?
Property values, I would say around 100,
Okay, okay,
120. So yeah, even, and I'm telling ARV.
okay,
So
Hmm.
it's and I had a couple of properties that I had as a rentals, small multifamily, and I sold it to fellow investors on seller finance. So
okay.
that's different story. Their
Yeah.
down payments were significant, and actually one of the things that helped me to survive during the hardest moments of my life is when I sold my four family, my best building,
Mm,
to a good friend of mine whom I met in my first group of women real estate
mm,
investors. And she and her husband gave me very significant down payment because they wanted to have low interest rate on monthly
mm.
payment. And for me, the opposite. It was more important to get as much money as I could at the moment. And their down payment allowed me to survive for next year.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Because some people could ask, like, okay, if you had all those debt and ongoing legal battles, how you can even survive without
Yeah.
having a business? So that's what helped me to survive.
Mm.
I sold a couple of rentals on seller finance and I got money down.
So how did you pull through? Because you say you had three children, boys or
Two.
girls? What do you
I
have?
have two boys.
Okay, two boys. So two boys. I know two boys could be rough. I was a boy once. I know it could be rough for a mom. So how did you manage to push forward with the real estate and handle two boys?
Well, when you have no choice, you just do it.
Mm,
Wow.
I literally was in survival mode every single day. And I cannot say I'm completely out of that, but
mm,
situation is much better.
okay.
And I think that a lot of mentors teach, and in fear I can agree, but for me, I wasn't able, to really plan ahead the future because I
Mm,
was literally was
Day to day.
living one day at a time since I didn't know what school or what doctor I need to visit today, what
mm,
happens to my child. Like it mostly was my younger child who was majorly suffering, but so that's unknown thing just kept me focused on present moment. And the fact that I realized I'm doing well is because 3 times a year we have our mastermind meetings, and I made sure to attend those meetings. And luckily, I had a great connection with our nanny who used to, to watch my son for 3 years after he was born. And she was stepping in when I had to travel. She was coming in and stayed. So on those meetings, when I was presenting my situation, like Damon is looking at, oh, so basically you replaced your income. And I'm like, oh, you're right. I even didn't notice how it happened.
So what would you tell a mom that's coming up behind you, that's in the same situation? What would you tell her, and she's feeling the pressure of it and she's about to give up? What would you advise her to do?
Well, for a mom, I think the most important thing to remember that her
Yeah.
children needs her. And doesn't matter how it felt in the moment. And as I said, I personally felt like a total failure as a mother because I didn't know how I can help my kids. I still don't know, but I think I came to realization that I'm doing everything I can. I'm providing best care I can get, and I'm not, magician. But I see my children getting better. So advice to a mom, first of all, remember that children need her. And once you understand that, when you become mom or dad, in many cases your mindset changes from doing everything for yourself into
Yes.
sacrificing for your children. And then I knew I had to find a way to make money. Plus, I believed in real estate.
Okay.
And professionally, I know I'm super smart and I have no doubt that I can build empire.
Okay.
My challenge was to find the right niche because I tried all kind of different side hustles, but nothing stick, nothing was that I enjoyed it. And in real estate, I truly love what I am doing.
Mm-hmm.
Making money in the process is a nice bonus
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't really love what I was doing for 20 plus years. I was
Mm-hmm.
excellent in it. I was top performer, but I never truly enjoyed. I could enjoy shortly when I solved some,
Right.
interesting, challenging puzzle, but most of the work is kind of routine. It's the same things, it's the same algorithms. And plus, I didn't see anybody personally I was helping. So, I
Okay.
took on projects where I was able, to manage by myself instead of 5 people doing it in the past. Or I created a tool that replaced, 7 full-time employee with one person doing it part-time. But still, I wasn't helping real people to
Yeah.
solve their life problems. And then recently I helped a super nice older couple in their 70s who raised, I think, 8 children in their home. I purchased their home and they promised to get everything, removed, but they overestimated what they could do. So I stepped in, I paid for junk removal service. I paid a few thousands to help them. And they were so grateful, but that's where I feel I can really, help
Make a
and
difference.
contribute to the society. I don't like to contribute to charity organizations because growing up in Russia after perestroika, I know very well that unfortunately all in some charity organizations money goes to the founders,
Right.
not to the
Right.
people
That's
in
true.
need.
But
So
no
so
matter
I
as
enjoy
keep it quiet
targeted
as yeah,
help.
it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like if I can help a real person that I see really needs that help and a good person, then I would rather do that.
Mm-hmm.
Or at one closing, I was helping a lady in pre-foreclosure, and we are coming to the closing table, and we find out that she needs to pay additional, I don't remember, $600 or $700, and she didn't have that. So I'm telling my closer, okay, take it from my payment. And the lady started to cry. She wasn't used with anybody, helping her
Right.
with money, but
Yeah.
those are great moments. Or like a family who got
Yes.
their house and they were so excited and they truly renovated it. They turned into such a beautiful forever home for their family.
Nice,
Now,
nice. I love that.
now
Oh,
that's a good point there. So all the properties that you take on that you provide seller financing for, are you renovating all of them, or do you just clean them up and make them rent ready?
Uh, well, I don't renovate them,
Okay.
definitely not. But I make sure that properties I personally sell on seller finance are livable. So I make
Mm-hmm.
sure that the electric and plumbing are working, the roof is not leaking, and it doesn't look like, I don't know, a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it's not the case with everyone. And
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of properties
yes,
sold
right.
that are not livable. And again, if it's clearly explained that it's investor special and it requires a lot of work, that's perfectly fine if your
Mm-hmm.
buyer knows what he's buying into.
Mhm.
But
Right.
I've seen really heartbreaking examples where like an older lady buying a house only to find out it's not livable and she needs tons of work to bring it livable and she doesn't have those money. It wasn't my
Mhm.
house.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so yeah, I don't like stories about people who lack integrity.
And
Right.
those are scammers,
In real
right?
estates,
Yeah.
we have all those
Yeah,
people.
yeah. It's tons of all kind of
Right.
things
Yeah.
going on
I,
now.
I want to go back to that question you had, Donald, to her. Is what would she tell a mother that's
Oh yeah,
raising
we got
some children?
distracted.
Hmm. And for me, I've been in such a situation when I was separating from my ex-husband. Um, I found we was really intrinsic while I was trying to get a private practice off the ground here in this city I'm in, and he was trying to do a caricature, defame, trashing on me, right? And I didn't want nothing to do with no longer being in that house while I was separating. I'm out of that bumping into his presence because he was becoming questionable domestic, right? That I had never seen. I've known him for 12 years. And I just stepped away. When I left that morning, I knew I would not be back. So where am I going to go? And so I think the age of your children makes a difference, right? That would have been really, really significant if my son was 8 or older, but he was 2 years old. He was
Mm-hmm.
going on 2 years old. Um, and from my experience, what I learned is keep moving and keep praying and keep what Tatiana did, and that is find a way. It's going to come. Keep moving, keep connecting to good people around you because you will find a way. You will find that way will come to you. I
Yeah,
think,
great
guys.
point, Cynthia. And frankly, uh, what you just told brought me to another thought, because you and I are, professional women,
Mm-hmm.
and what I am telling is usually applies to women who have some profession. Because of course, when I divorced, I had children ages 6 and 1.5,
Mm-hmm.
very little. But I was the main family provider. I was making most of the money of the family. So I had this luxury to make decision in divorce and actually agree to whatever amount child support he was willing to pay because I didn't care. I knew I could always make money. So first and foremost, advice to young
Mm-hmm.
girls:
Mm-hmm.
get some profession in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
Do not become a housewife without income, fully
Mm.
dependent
That's
on
a
her
whole
Mm-hmm.
different
husband.
situation.
That's
You got
that's
that right.
that's a that's a deep statement there.
Yes,
That
yes,
is,
yes.
Because
yeah.
if you're a single mother who used to be a housewife, not making
Depending,
real money, I don't
depending.
have advice for such
You
person, unfortunately,
you
because
got
Wow.
change. You got to change that language. Depending on that spouse.
Yeah, dependent on
She's
the
a
spouse.
housewife depending on that spouse. And I'm just going to say one little biblical thing. We are selfish beings.
Mhm.
Human beings are selfish beings. Some are more selfish, some are less selfish. So that is very, very important
Because
what
if
you're
you
saying.
have no money, no savings formally of your own, and again, of course, I do understand
You
that
got me sweating. You got me sweating.
housewife work is probably
Yeah.
the hardest job on earth. But for
Mhm.
some reason, it is not paid. The
It's
Yeah.
like,
husbands
yeah.
don't pay for that.
And you got to keep in mind too, life happens. So if
Yeah.
you solely relying on your significant other, they can get sick, they can have an accident, they can have a heart attack. Life happens,
Mm-hmm.
and now you solely dependent on that person, and your sole breadwinner has gotten taken down. Now what? I
Also, a
never
good
forget
point.
my mother used to ask my first wife that question. If that boy gets sick, he the one who bring all the money in this house. What you gonna do? And she just didn't believe that something could happen to me, but she didn't ever think that something would happen between her and I, and we wound up divorced. So people, you got to make sure that more income coming in the house is better than just one income.
And even if it's one income, I know it's crazy to say, but I just had this thought. If you are housewife and your spouse or house husband, it can be different ways in
Right,
modern
right.
life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what gender, but probably it was to make an agreement that this house spouse is getting some monthly payment to their account.
The
So
Yeah.
same.
this way, at least we can have some, money for
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
situation when something unexpected happens and
Mm-hmm.
not feel like they are doing hard work because cooking, cleaning, raising kids are probably the hardest work in the whole world,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm.
we're not getting paid. So yeah,
Yeah.
my advice it's more for people who can provide for themselves because I was that way. And Cynthia said, keep moving.
Keep
And
moving. You gotta keep moving. Gotta
I
keep
think I
hope.
was lucky that all this happened at the time that I found my niche.
Mm-hmm.
Because of course I could go back to corporate job, but I
It's
truly
hard.
like suffered. I don't know, but I know in real estate I can make a good living and help a lot of people. And remember, like Amy, our coach in raising private money, she was telling similar story. She, well, not personally, but she hit a huge loss in some expensive housing deal. And some people ask her, are you going to go back to your corporate job? And she said, no, no way I'm going back. I know how to run real estate business. I just make more money. I pay off all my lenders, but
Mm-hmm.
I will keep doing this business. And it was same for me.
Mm.
I had the business I wanted to build that I truly enjoyed.
Mm.
And
That's good.
that's an inspiration. It also helped me to survive, hard mental situations. But again, as I said, I had to seek help and look for help, and I got medications. But now
Mm-hmm.
I'm off medications. I'm super excited. I have huge plans for
Mm-hmm.
business.
Mhm.
I'm starting a new venture as a public speaker.
Okay.
I
Okay.
have.
So what I was gonna ask you, what's in the next year, 5 year plan for you?
Well, again, I typically don't do in 5 years because my life changes much faster. But consider that, remember,
6
Uh-huh.
I was born
months.
in Soviet Union. So when
Uh-huh.
I was growing up, I considered American citizen, not everybody, of course, but I was well aware of American capitalists that have a lot of money and
Mm-hmm.
they were considered bad people. I was preparing myself to fight them. So
Okay.
look at me now. I'm an American proud capitalist.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't plan for too long, but my short-term goal for the next year is improve my systems for my business, automate, what I can automate, and with modern technology of AI, it's more easier than before. Just need to find time, delegate some, routine tasks, and help more people, partially through public speaking as well.
Mm.
Because the moment I started to speak up on social media, I couldn't believe what a great response I started to get, and people who have experienced all kinds of scams were reaching out, thanking me for sharing my story, asking for advice, and it does help them to have hope that they can overcome.
Mm.
So
That's
I want to mention one thing that we all had experienced a loss from a deal.
mm.
And it I think after you get past the shock that this is happening, you hurt, and then now you got to fight against uh, the fear of, do I go back out there? Do I do this again? Do I continue in this vein? Um, what I learned from it was a trusted individual. And what I learned from it is you got to have, I don't care what changes they make. I don't care how belly to belly and face to face friendly we are to each other. Got to have a contract there.
Yeah.
You have to put a contract there. Well, we're buddies. We don't need to spend no time. Oh, yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Because that's how
well,
you
but
can
the
steal from
contacts
me.
you have, you need to have good contacts,
Yeah.
because in this unsuccessful scam thing, I was truly sure that I fully legally protected. It's
Mm,
not that we didn't have contracts, but I wasn't experienced enough in legal documents. So
mm,
the main thing that allowed her to took my money was that originally the house was taken under title by both of our entities, my corporation and her corporation. But then at some point when we were trying to refinance, and that was mistake, it was under my name because I had excellent credit score, paycheck and everything. And now I suspect probably the lender was playing on her side. I don't know, because literally the day before closing, I got a call saying we cannot refinance because the title is held into corporations. But this information was available from the beginning. It didn't become known, a day before closing. And
they
then he
manipulated.
told, oh, we can keep similar terms if you move it into LLC. But
They,
Florida has all kind of weird regulations. So I did create a new proper partnership LLC, but since it was new, it could have taken, I don't remember, probably 60 days
Mm.
to move property, and we wanted to act fast.
mm,
So conveniently, this lady had an aged LLC in Florida,
mm,
and we were working with a title company. Obviously, she recommended the title company. And
Mm.
title company lady kind of confirmed, because I was asking her question. And again, lesson learned, do not ask title company ladies, ask an attorney. But
Mm.
she kind of assured me that if I'm added as managing member to that existing LLC, I'm protected. So she helped
She helped the scam.
to,
mm-hmm.
yes, in the
Yeah,
end, she helped to scam. So bottom
yeah,
line, I was added as managing member to somebody's, not to somebody's, but that JV Pastor Lady LLC. I signed quit claim deed to move property from my corporation into that LLC.
yeah.
Mm.
And 2 months down the road, behind my back,
Mm,
she removed me from that LLC's member because
Mm.
the biggest mistake I did, I didn't review the operating agreement, and I didn't
yeah.
ask to amend the operating agreement.
Mm,
Mm.
So that was the problem. I just didn't have enough legal experience. So,
Right.
yeah,
yes, for something significant, do not try to save few $100 on a real estate attorney. Have everything reviewed by attorney.
Yeah. And, and,
yeah.
and I agree to I never forget when I bought my first multifamily. Well, I shouldn't say first, but when I bought a 16 unit,
Ooh,
the lender walked away at closing with over $100,000 in their pocket.
Oh,
Private lender. Well, I wouldn't say it was private, but he funded the deal out of his own pocket. And some other
That's a private
investors.
lender.
No, he had some other investors tied into it too.
Oh,
So it wasn't private. And the terms wasn't as like hard money either. But the fact that he scammed me at closing and I didn't understand how to read a RESPA or a HUD, that's what allowed him to be able to do that to me. So documentation is very important to understand what you're signing because if it's not on paper in real estate, it didn't happen.
mm.
So it has to be in black and white, and you have to make sure somebody is there on your side that can explain those documents clearly for you not to get that situation. Because it happened to me, it actually happened to me twice with a realtor that actually sold a property for me, and he walked away from closing with 40 some thousand dollars, 40 or 30 some thousand dollars. He walked away with more money than I did at the sale of the property. And I was like, how did that just happen? But it was because he did something under the table that I didn't know. And basically, he wholesaled the property and didn't disclose that to me. So, if you don't understand what you don't understand, you wind up losing a whole lot of money, and you have a story like we have right now to tell somebody else.
yeah. Well, again, but
Yeah,
you learn the lessons and move forward.
Yeah,
that's true.
So
absolutely.
That's
frankly,
true. It
after
makes you.
that awful deal, all
Mm,
my other deals are
It
successful,
make
yeah,
profitable.
it makes you a better entrepreneur.
yeah,
Even
absolutely.
though
For
you got
sure.
bit, even though you experienced the loss, it makes you a better entrepreneur. But before we get off the air, I want to ask everyone for more content to come. Hit that like button,
Yes,
and to keep us rolling, ooh, hit that subscribe button. But
absolutely.
But what I also want to go back to, because it's a passion of mine, and I am working on Sisters of Single Moms Overcoming. That's gonna be a place.
Mm,
But I want to go back to that single mom question, Donald, that you asked.
okay.
What would you tell? And what I want to do is just summarize because we threw a lot out there, right? Um, Summarize some of the mindset, some of the strategy, some of the problem solving that a mom need to grab while she finding herself in. I'm getting ready to be a single mom. I am a single mom struggling. I need help as a single mom struggling, and Tatiana hit a big point. Pow. That is a pow. She said, get a financial source. Have a financial source. And so part of a household budget, which many of us don't have, many of us don't have,
Right,
is that
right.
household budget. That is what how much money does it take to run your household? What your essentials, your electric, your gas, your cell phone, your car note, your insurance, all those essentials. Where is the groceries? Where is your extra money in that household budget? But where is that savings? Not just for the mom, but like Donald mentioned, that dad goes down. That's the household. That's the household breadwinner. Or that mom goes down. That's the household breadwinner. Where's that saving, that kit that you've been putting, that cash kit that you've been putting on the side? Because I don't care. I haven't met a human being that hasn't had life happen. I haven't met one.
Yeah.
I've met that human being that says, I haven't had a life happen. Life happens.
Yeah,
Um, and so, and I what I've learned, because I just came through a little thing, I'm still in it, is just to keep moving, keep hope, and keep praying. Keep praying.
yeah.
That is
Well, make
those.
an action, and if
Yeah.
needed,
And
make a massive action.
that's
Right.
it. That
Because
connection.
I respect praying, but truth to be told, if you just praying and doing any
Oh, you got to
actions,
move. You got
Yeah.
to move.
you
It's
need to
Yeah.
do
nothing gonna
both.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pray and take action.
That's
Yes.
it.
Absolutely.
That's it. That's
Absolutely.
it. That's it. That's
So
just like reading a book. That's
yeah.
just like listening to a YouTube. You hear it, but you got to do the
Yeah,
action.
Yeah.
You can't just
exactly.
hear it. You got to move. You got to move in it. You
Right.
got to provide some kind of action to see at the end a KPI, a result,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Ooh,
how
baby.
can people that wants to follow your story and keep up with what you the amazing things you're doing for people? How do people get in touch with you, follow you? Uh
Thank you, Donald, for asking that question. People who can pronounce my name can find me on social media or my personal website, tatianazagorovski.com. For many of those who have challenges pronounce my last name, my kids including, I have more simple website, webuyhomesinstllouis.com. And from
okay.
Okay.
there you can easily find my full name, and I'm active on social media, primarily on Facebook. I do have profiles on all major channels, but if someone wants to ask question or send me a message, Facebook is my primary social media, and of course my website and my social profiles, they have my phone number as well and email address.
Okay. And I know you mentioned you started doing some speaking engagements. How do somebody book you on your speaking if they
Oh,
wanted you to speak?
just reach out, and for people in real estate or entrepreneurship, next month, actually in 2 weeks, there will be a great real estate event here in St. Louis, RI Black Book Boot Camp. I will be one of the speakers on that event, and the prices are still relatively low. It's not the full price yet.
Mm.
So please sign up and come to St. Louis. And shortly after that, on October 14, there will be a Dominate Entrepreneur Summit in Florida, but it has also virtual option. And one of the virtual option is completely free.
Mhm.
And it will be one day event. I will be on the panel of speakers who talk about how to overcome challenges.
Mm.
And there will
Well,
be another panel for public relation, how to dominate your social media,
Mm.
and another panel for using AI in your business.
Oh
where,
wow.
where
So
at
I
in
think
Florida?
it's very important for anyone to
Yeah.
join, especially the prices
Yeah.
starts from free, and even the highest price is still the lowest I've ever seen in any of those events. So there's my upcoming public speaking engagement, but I'm open for more, and my right audience is real estate investors and single mom and any entrepreneurship events where it's important to learn how to overcome big obstacles.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where at in Florida is that?
Clearwater, Florida.
Oh,
I'm
near
flying
Jacksonville. I mean,
there.
near Pensacola.
No, it's in Clearwater.
Yeah. Okay. I
No,
think
not
that's near.
Pensacola is in different direction.
Yeah, it's near. I think it's
It's
near.
close to Tampa.
Oh, Tampa Bay.
No, it's not
Okay.
close to Pensacola. It's close to Tampa.
Okay.
I'm actually
Clearwater.
flying to Tampa Airport.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Okay. And then where's that? What date is that? St. Louis.
St. Louis
Actually.
is October 10 to 12. It's 3 days event. It's
Ooh.
frankly, it's my favorite. I am going every time. I think I missed only one since I discovered them
Okay.
because I can listen to Damon and his guests multiple times.
And
Okay.
how can somebody get a ticket for that?
Yeah.
REI bootcamp.com/Tatiana.
Okay.
I might try to make it to that. I was
Oh, it would
thinking.
be awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking, was I going to make it to Missouri? My son's birthday is 10/10, so I got two reasons to get there, and so I think I might make that. And so 10/10 is a Wednesday, isn't it? It's a
No,
Wednesday?
10 is Friday, 10 to 12. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay.
And it will be, for those who are familiar with St. Louis, it will be at the Westport Plaza in St. Louis.
Okay.
Okay. Let me see. Oh, yeah. It's a Friday. I don't know why I thought it was a Tuesday
it's
or
Friday,
Wednesday.
Saturday, and Sunday.
I'm gonna try to make it to that. Gosh, it'd be nice if I can get my son to come and get a little
Exactly,
taste of
yeah. And
entrepreneur.
actually, I'm amazed, and I'm waiting for that moment when I can start bringing my boys. But some people do bring their children starting from like age 17, 18. And I'm jealous in a good sense for those young people because they are getting as early as possible.
Yeah.
Like I wish I have started what I'm doing now. Well, even not when I moved to United States, but at least right after I got divorced. That would be awesome.
And what would you tell yourself back then about real estate? What would you have told yourself to actually do to get yourself moving forward?
Well, first of all, I think that many people don't know, and that's what I didn't know until very, very late in the game, is you don't need to have tons of money to start real estate. Next thing, start learning, start finding your crowd, and the easiest and free way to do it, or almost free, is to start going to local real estate networking events. And actually, I started that too immediately after this cheap webinar. I found an amazing group here in St. Louis. Now I know all of those groups, but originally I started to go to one, and I met a few people. And I remember I had tears in my eyes when one of the lady just gave me a whole pack of templates for landlords, because she was doing it for many years, and I was completely new, and I thought, I want to build my rental portfolio at the time. So she gave me her templates completely for free, and it almost made me cry because I'm not used to somebody giving me anything for free. I'm not used to that other people, helping me with something.
Yeah.
Nice. I love that, Tatiana. And this space has become so, even though you got to look out for scammers, it has become so information friendly, partnership friendly. Although you got a lot of greedy people hanging around,
but there are more good people.
Yeah, right. You can feel that heart of the person, right? Just got to be careful. I feel very comfortable with you two on this panel that I could do deals with, I can trust, and be connected to you tomorrow in the future. I just feel that way about each other, about us right here. And that's a good feeling to have.
Likewise, yeah.
So I want to thank you for coming on. This was great. I think it brought a lot of value for those who are actually interested in getting going. And I'm showcasing women to show that they can actually strive in a male-dominated industry. And that's what this was about. And I'm gonna keep trying to bring awareness that women are actually still doing deals in this industry.
Oh yeah, we are.
Coming in.
Yeah.
It reminded me when I was doing medicine.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna put it out there. Gynecology, female doctor. The female doctors was nothing but males. Matter of fact, all the doctors was pretty much nothing but males. But they said in gynecology, they give it less than 5 years, it was going to be probably 50% of women. And it is, and it needs to be. A man can't tell me how it feel to have cramps. I mean, he can't, because he'll never have them.
Right.
But anyway, I wanted to, since we're still recording, I have not been able to move on this Tatiana because I've had too much on my plate. But I got a gentleman out of St. Louis that has a 6-property portfolio. I want to talk to you about it because you're right there.
Here you go. That's how deals are made in real estate.
Yeah.
Even on podcasts.
Yeah.
And I haven't been able to. I've been too busy and haven't even been able to look at the email. And he's reaching out to me, so probably talk to you after this is offline. And see if we can move this.
All right. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for joining in. Don't forget to like and share and follow us on YouTube, and we on Spotify. Again, thank you, and see you all next episode.
If you want to hear more stories and tips about real estate, foreclosure, and private lending insights, hit like and subscribe now.